Throughout the history, Africans were known to be immigrants to different European countries in search of greener pasture. What if I told you it's not always the case? Get ready for an in-depth exploration of some incredible Europeans who have left their homelands to embrace the African soil and succeeded in establishing their own farming sector, employing thousands of Africans, as well as how they withstand challenges such as losing everything they have accumulated and starting over again. Unarguably, Africans are blessed with abundance of natural resources, and for this reason, a number of non-Africans have settled in various African countries such as Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Nigeria, etc. Astonishingly, some of these non-African settlers were Europeans. They have settled and explored different sectors, which does not only sustain them, but provides employment opportunities to Africans that live within their community of residence. But one must know that these successful European African farmers, at some point in their journey, have lose everything they have accumulated. To the European African farmers who settled in Zimbabwe, the challenge they encounter was that everything they acquired got taken away during Robert Mugabe's regime in his so-called land reformation program. It was a scheme that took land from white owners and gave it to black Zimbabweans. And of course, that didn't stop them from succeeding. After the incident of Zimbabwe, Kevin Gifford moved to Mozambique, establishing a farm sector which employs between 175 to 350 Africans. In a region with high unemployment rate, these foreign-owned farms have indeed given the local economy a much-needed boost, as hundreds of mainly young Mozambican men who had no jobs before now work on these farms. These achievements makes Gifford a successful European African farmer. Robert Smart was another successful European African farmer. Despite losing everything during Mugabe's regime, he later returned to his farm. You can tell how impactful he was from the way his return was celebrated by the entire community. Robert Smart has been away for about 6 to 7 months, and while they were away, looters took equipment and personal belongings the Smart family had spent years accumulating. In November, when Emerson Mnangagwa took office after ousting Mugabe with the help of the military, he ordered that the Smart family, whose story had been widely reported in the media, be given their farm back. From this seasoned farm of potatoes alone, they are expecting a total produce of 120 tons to be taken to market. You may think of that as a considerable amount, but it comes nowhere near to what they could have harvested had they not been forced off their land. Graham Ray, once a major cotton farmer in Zimbabwe, who moved to Zambia and now plowing his trade in the Chisamba district of Zambia. He lost his 1,000-hectare farm in Zimbabwe to an army general during the land reformation program initiated by Robert Mugabe. Here, too, he has made a mark by becoming the first exporter of blueberries from Zambia to China. Just to give a hint on the massive contribution European African farmers made to Zambia's economy, it was estimated that wheat production jumped from 60,000 metric tons per year in 2009 to somewhere averaging between 300 to 420,000 metric tons per year. In addition, this massive contribution has led Zambia to now exporting onions, tomatoes, potatoes, and berries. Having made such contribution to Zambia's economy, Graham is indeed a successful European African farmer. Ivan was another successful farmer with 300 Jersey cows. He and 12 other Zimbabwean farmers were invited by Nigeria's Kwara state government and allowed to lease 1,000 hectares each in Shonga, about 400 kilometers from Lagos, so they could run commercial dairy and crop farms. The deal here is the Zimbabwean farmers own 40% of the farms, and the rest belongs to Nigerian banks and the government. Ivan relocated to Nigeria in 2005 with his wife and son. According to Ivan, they arrived to just virgin bush. They were basically given GPS points to mark them out themselves and clear the bush, find water, put down boreholes, build the house, build the sheds, import the cattle. So everything was basically from the grassroots. The circumstances that drove Ivan to Nigeria were nowhere near enjoyable. Zimbabwean farmer Graham Hattie, in an interview, told African Journal that he used to be one of the best wheat farmers in Zimbabwe. According to Graham, they have 300 hectares under irrigation, intensive irrigation, 2 crops a year on the same piece of land. They export crops to Europe, munch to peas, and English runner beans. Graham now grows cassava on 600 hectares, making him the biggest individual grower of the crop, according to the people of his residence. The cassava is used for local consumption and glucose and ethanol production. He's employed 250 workers, and Kwara state government have asked Graham to help train Nigerians in commercial farming at a nearby institution. Now you have watched the successful farmers who left Europe to Africa and impacted the Africa's economy positively. But here's the thing. When talking about Africa, most people have misconception of what it truly is. What if I told you that there's a side of Africa that's rarely shown, and it's time to uncover it? Watch this video to find out.